So far, this has been my favorite experience, and the one I'm most excited to share. It is the culmination of my 18 months of weight loss transformation, which began back in March last year when I was around 30% body fat. I was unhappy, unmotivated, low on energy all the time, not sure what to do with my life, and I was just about to hit 40. Now let's begin. I've been on a 1 meal a day diet for a year and a half, since March 2024. And aside from a short trip overseas in June 2025, I've stuck with it consistently. During this time, I never fasted for more than 24 hours, because in the long run, I believe consistency is what really matters. Before starting my weight loss journey, I had tried 48 and 72-hour fasts, but each time I ended up gaining more weight instead of losing, because I would binge after breaking the fast. I've also seen the same thing happen to others who tried longer fasts. On top of that, I've never seen anyone stay on OMAD long term, then do a longer fast and return straight to OMAD. However, each time someone commented that they had done a multi-day fast, I was compelled to do it. The more time passed, the more I thought about it. One day I watched a video from a channel with millions of subscribers who had done a 7-day water fast. I really liked the video, but still I wasn't thinking of doing it myself. When I uploaded my advanced fasting video, someone commented, "You are the David Goggins of fasting." For some reason, that really resonated with me. Erica, if you're watching this, thank you. Then I watched other videos on the benefits of long fasts, like boosting stem cells. As you might already know if you've been following me, I have had a bad knee and a bad shoulder. The knee has been manageable with proper warm-ups at intervals during my runs. But the shoulder hadn't healed, even after 3 years. The urge to try this kept building up. However, the push still wasn't strong enough. Recently, my friend traveled to Thailand and left behind a fridge full of delicious snacks, mostly carbs and sugar. Peanut butter, almond butter, pistachio butter, chocolates, cake, biscuits, bagels, cereals, chocolate milk, you name it. Before leaving, he told me I could have had whatever I wanted. As you might know, I've been on a carnivore diet for some time, and a few weeks ago I was at 9% body fat, weighing 129 pounds or 58.5 kilograms. I was losing fat quickly and getting close to my ultimate goal of 6% body fat, which for me would be around 125 pounds or 57 kilograms. I couldn't stop thinking about that fridge though, no matter how hard I tried. I opened it a few times just to look at all those stuff without touching anything. The night that he left, I told myself I was going to try the almond butter, just a tiny bit, and so did I. It was delicious but was missing something. Then I added a bit of manuka honey, and it enhanced the flavor tenfold. I added more, and it felt like heaven. Not having had carbs or sweets for so long, I was instantly hooked. I couldn't stop myself and tore through the whole stash. The next day I woke up with a severe craving for sweets. So I went back and finished the unfinished job. I ate all of it. Then I saw the sausages loaded with starches. And since I was already neck deep, I thought I might as well eat them too. And that's exactly what I did. Afterwards, I got very sleepy and took a 2-hour nap. When I woke up, I weighed myself and I couldn't believe it. I was 139 pounds or 63 kilograms. I knew most of it was probably just glycogen stores filling up, but I looked visibly different. Less shredded. I skipped dinner that night and weighed myself again the next morning, still the same. I told everyone on the channel that I'd be at 6% body fat by the end of the month, yet I was moving farther away from it instead. I've learned 2 lessons in life. You can always take the energy from failures and mistakes and turn it into a win, using setbacks as stepping stones to success. And number 2, the most important one, sometimes you need a revolution, a complete U-turn. And that's when things aren't working out, no matter how hard you try. See, this isn't just about weight loss or fitness. It applies to everything in life. Business, relationships, any worthy goal. You can't negotiate your way into success. You have to take the warrior's path, to be brave, make bold moves, and to do it fast. That's how you win, and that's exactly what I did. The last time I ate was on September 4th at 12 p.m. I call that day 0 since it wasn't a full day of fasting. I decided to push the fast to 3 days, and I'll take you along on the journey, day by day. Let's break it down. Day 1, September 5th. I woke up with a huge sugar craving. but luckily I had already eaten everything sweet at home, so there was nothing left. More importantly, I had made up my mind to do 72 hours, and that was non-negotiable. I also decided to cut out coffee and anything with caffeine during the fast, unless it was a very small amount. There are a few reasons for this. 1. Caffeine disrupts sleep, and the effect is stronger during fasting since there's no food to buffer or dilute it. Sleep is also affected on long fasts, so there's no reason to make it even worse. 2. Caffeine is a diuretic and depletes the electrolytes, also the minerals and vitamins. Replacing them with supplements is difficult, if not impossible. 3. This was the perfect opportunity to completely detox and see the pure effects of fasting without any substance. It would also reset my caffeine sensitivity. 4. It was the best chance to do a dopamine detox and focus on my peace, relaxation, and healing, because I had been stressed the whole week leading up to this long fast. 5. I'm already very lean and have less fat to buffer caffeine or any other substance. Have you noticed obese people need to drink more to get drunk? The same applies to caffeine. 6. And finally, if you've been following me, you know I've been preparing for a fully fasted marathon, the first ever documented on YouTube by someone over 40 on a carnivore diet, eating OMAD and already super lean. In order to achieve that, the first step is weaning off caffeine. Caffeine dehydrates me, which forces me to constantly take water and electrolytes, and then run to the bathroom, making a marathon practically impossible. Now what happened next was a huge challenge. Since I quit coffee all of a sudden, I went cold turkey. Day 1 was terrible. I spent most of it lying in bed with an excruciating headache. Fortunately, I slept through most of it. At night, I had my 0-calorie electrolyte mix and went back to bed. Just like that, day 1 was gone. Day 2, September 6th. I woke up still with a headache, but it was manageable. I slept a bit more and then started to feel better. Then I started doing my coaching calls, client work, reviewing their weight loss programs, and replying to emails. That day something great happened. I received my first sponsorship. It was for a product I had always wanted to buy but never had the chance to. I guess that's the power of manifestation. Stay tuned. I'll reveal what it is soon. Now, the hunger was there, but not usually strong. I just kept thinking, it's only day 2 out of 3. Tomorrow I'll eat. I can do this. I took a nap at around 4 p.m. and when I woke up, the headache was completely gone. To boost my motivation, I decided to watch a movie. And what better choice than Rocky? After watching Rocky 2, I was on fire. I went straight to the gym and hit the treadmill, blasting Rocky's soundtrack the whole time. I felt invincible. Right then and there, I decided to extend the fast to 5 days instead of 3. I ran 7.5 miles or 12 kilometers, burning roughly 820 kilocalories. That night, I had my electrolytes instead of a meal and went to bed. Day 3, September 7th. That morning, I woke up with the headache again, though less severe this time. I spent most of the day resting and watching YouTube videos about fasting. One small channel had managed 7 days. After watching, I thought to myself, if he can do it, why not me? And that's when I decided to add 2 more days, making it a 7-day water fast. I couldn't exercise that day, but I still managed to work and finish my tasks. Then I checked the channel. We'd gone from less than 7,000 to 8,000 subscribers in just 2 days. I also went through the comments and replied to as many as I could. As usual, I had my electrolytes and went to bed. My sleep wasn't affected by the fasting, and I believe that was because I'd cut out anything with caffeine. Now day 4, September 8th. That morning I woke up with a lingering headache. I've experienced this before, and for me caffeine withdrawal is tough. It can take weeks for my body to fully adjust. On the one hand, I didn't want to lie in bed all day. I had work to do. On the other, I didn't want to go back to the root cause of the problem, which was coffee. So I chose the middle ground and had some mild black tea instead. As soon as I did, I immediately felt better. Fantastic even. A wave of euphoria hit me. I turned into a workhorse and finished everything I'd planned for the day. At 8 p.m. I hit the gym and crushed it on the Stairmaster. It was my first time staying on it for more than 30 minutes, and I managed to climb 225 floors. The machine showed 508 kilocalories, but I'm sure I burned more, since I don't lean on the handrails like most people do. Like every other night, I had my electrolytes and went to bed. Hunger was creeping in, but I shifted my focus to the future of the channel. These experiments aren't just for me. We're all learning together. We keep pushing the limits and proving the mainstream wrong, breaking laziness and tearing down mental roadblocks. I took a moment to feel grateful, then put on some astronomy videos on YouTube until I drifted off. Day 5, September 9th. The early morning was cold, down to 40 degrees Fahrenheit or 5 degrees Celsius, because it's the beginning of the spring here in Australia. And for some reason, I felt the cold more than usual. I'm not diving into the science in this video, but one side effect of long fasting or probably getting too shredded, at least for me, is feeling much colder. I spent the whole night curled up under the blankets. When I woke up, I weighed myself for the first time since starting the fast. I was down to 132 pounds or 60 kilograms, still higher than my weight before the binge. 5 days had passed. I hadn't eaten a single thing or drunk anything with even 1 calorie. I trained hard at the gym, and I was still heavier than merely 1 day before the fast. That's crazy. No wonder most people's weight get out of control after 40, heck, even after 30. Before judging me in the comments, remember, I do these experiments to learn. They're safe, and I share them so you don't have to go through the same trial and error. And if you choose to try, you'll do it with more awareness and a better understanding. If you're over a certain age, probably 30 or 40, there's a good chance your body will respond in a fairly similar way. I always say you can't out-exercise your diet, even a good one. And it's far easier to gain weight than to lose it, especially with carbohydrates. And it gets worse with age. In a way, I was glad I did that binge because it further proved my point. Another important point to mention is that after a period of restriction, the body becomes much more prone to gaining weight quickly, even from a single slip. This is due to the body sensing famine followed by abundance or feasting. Fat cells will store fat more efficiently, as if fearing and over-preparing for another famine. Now back to day 5. I decided to have a cup of black tea to keep any possible headaches away. The morning was sunny and I enjoyed my cup of tea to the fullest. As I looked up, I noticed a cat on the neighbor's rooftop. Fasting had made me more present, more aware of the little details I'd normally miss. It opened up a kind of childlike curiosity and wonder. I went through my usual daily work and hit the gym at night. I did the toughest workout and gave it my all. Guess which one? If you guessed legs, you're right. Most of it was bodyweight exercises combined with high-intensity interval training and suspension training, and I finished with leg extension and leg curl machines. It was brutal, but I still had more than enough energy to do all of those exercises. 4 sets of 10 reps each, without feeling dizzy or tired. That supercharged my motivation. Between sets, something struck me. Most people online have done 7-day water fasts, even the ones who comment, but hardly anyone goes past 7 days and documents it properly. And if you count someone doing it while on OMAD, probably none. So I thought, why not me? A few sets later, I did the math. 8 days times 24 hours is 192 hours. If I stretch it to dinner on the 8th day, adding 8, it's 200 hours. Even better, it lines up perfectly with my usual mealtime at night. In that case, as far as I'm aware, I will be the first one over 40 doing a 200-hour water fast, coming from OMAD and going back to OMAD, all while already at a single-digit body fat. Let's go for it then. The rest of the night followed the same routine as before. Nothing unusual. Day 6, September 10th. On day 6, I decided not to drink tea to see what would happen. I felt fine in the morning with no issues. Later, I went to Costco to pick up some groceries in preparation for a nutritious meal to break the fast with. Here's what I bought. Lamb leg and lamb shanks, 14 pounds or 6.5 kilograms in total. A 30-pack of free-range eggs, lemons for extra vitamin C, and nutritional yeast for extra vitamin B. In case you're curious, the total cost was 110 Australian dollars, which is about 75 US dollars. Which would cover me for the next 2 weeks, give or take. Then I weighed myself, 129 pounds or 58.6 kilograms. I was thrilled because I'd finally broken the plateau or the spell and hit my lowest weight since June this year. My body fat was roughly 8%, about 1% lower than when I filmed my previous video. That was a big win. Since I didn't drink tea that day, the withdrawal started creeping back. I went out to the backyard, lay in the sun to relax and get some natural vitamin D. Still the headache returned. Not as severe as day 1, but still debilitating. The hunger was getting worse after seeing all that food at Costco. I wanted to eat everything. Later, as I lay in bed hungry and in pain, I opened Instagram, and an old Persian poem from 1257 AD or 768 years ago appeared on my feed. 2 Sufis were traveling companions. One was poor and scrawny, eating only once every 3 days. The other was prosperous and chubby, eating 3 meals a day. By fate, when they arrived in one city, they were accused of being spies and imprisoned, locked in a house without food. 2 weeks later, their innocence was proven. When the door was finally opened, the chubby one was found dead, while the skinny one was still alive. People were astonished. The sage said, "It would have been strange if it were the other way around." The glutton, accustomed to excess, couldn't endure deprivation and perished. The frugal one, used to restraint, endured the hardship and survived. The poem resonated deeply with me. It hit hard and gave me 100% determination to see this through. I lay in bed for the rest of the day and went to sleep early that night. Now day 7, September 11th, the toughest day. I woke up with a slight headache. Not wanting to waste the day, I started with a cup of green tea, but it didn't help. Then I tried black tea. I sat in the sunshine for an hour, hoping the headache would fade. That didn't work either. I carried on anyway, though I couldn't get anything productive done for the rest of the day. Since one of my goals with this fast was a complete detox, I didn't take any painkillers. Instead, I walked around the house and massaged my head and neck. With just 1 day left, I was confident I could finish this. But the hunger was at its worst, and the anticipation of eating again kept building. I felt dizzy, lethargic, and lightheaded. Every time I stood up, I was hit with vertigo. I doubled down on electrolytes, but nothing changed. At one point, negative thoughts started to creep in. What if something happens to me? What if I pass out and no one's there to help? But then I caught myself to control and shifted my focus back to positivity. It's all in the mind, I told myself. You got this. If so many people have done it, so can I. Tap into the mindset of resilience and you'll get through this. This is only a test of your character. Fail this test and you are a failure, an imposter, a fake, a phony, a liar not only to everyone who follows you, but more importantly, to yourself. No backing down. Dead or alive, you're doing this. I weighed myself at the end of the day 7, and the number on the scale was 127 pounds or 57.7 kilograms. That was another record. By 9 p.m., I was feeling much better, but decided to lie down and rest. I was so excited for the next day, it felt as if a big event was coming, like winning the lottery and picking up the prize tomorrow. I couldn't fall asleep until 2 a.m. I'm not sure if it was because of the excitement of eating again or the caffeine in the black tea, but it didn't bother me at all. I lay down, replied to YouTube comments and emails, and checked on programs and progress of the members. I texted a few of them too, encouraging them to stay on track with their weight loss and fitness journey. If I can stop eating for 200 hours, while with little fat reserves, you sure as hell can go from lunch to dinner without grazing. Then I checked on the channel analytics and saw we'd reached 9,000 subscribers. That was incredible, and I felt so grateful. I remembered starting back on February 18th this year with only 19 subscribers and realized every step of the journey had led me here. I know for some people, even sticking to 3 meals a day without snacks feels harder than what I was going through. 7 days without food and battling intense caffeine withdrawals. But people stay trapped in that loop because they don't have the audacity to break out of it. This was my chance to prove I'm the opposite of that. A warrior, someone who doesn't surrender, someone who goes the distance, someone who walks the path and shows others what the human mind is capable of. I'd seen the other side of the coin and there was no going back. This was my hero's journey. I didn't get much sleep that night, maybe 5 hours at most. But there are 3 things I should mention here before continuing to the last day. The first one, after day 5, my libido started to go down day by day. By day 8, it tanked. My hypothesis is that the energy goes to the vital organs as well as the muscles during extreme fasting. My other guess would be cell regeneration, deep tissue cleansing, and increased autophagy. I don't think it has anything to do with low testosterone production. Even though a blood test may show less in the bloodstream, there are still some things those tests don't show. What if the testosterone is quickly absorbed by the muscles? The reason I think like that is because of what happened on day 8, which I'll share in a second. 2. Day 5 was the last day I had a bowel movement, until 3 days after refeed. That shows just how much the digestive system keeps cleansing itself out, even after 5 days with no ingestion. 3. After day 4, my sense of smell became insanely sharp, probably 10 times stronger. I could smell food or anything else from miles away. Now day 8, the final day, September 12th. I woke up with a huge energy and optimism, no headaches at all. I had pushed through adversity and pain, and now I was rewarded with extra energy. Not only didn't anything bad happen to me, I was actually feeling the best during all those 8 days. Since the last time I drank water was the night before, I decided to take it further. I wanted to push this to the extreme. Not only did I skip tea in the morning, but I also didn't drink water. I decided to make the last 24 hours a dry fast. If that wasn't enough, I did something else. I decided to go for a 10-mile or 16-kilometer run, all the way to my old workplace where I was fired from, and back. I was fully ready, like a warrior going into battle. I put on my running shoes the way they sharpen their swords before the fight. But then I stopped. You know what? Changed my mind. I took my shoes off. I was going barefoot. Now that's extreme, isn't it? Over 40 on OMAD, 8 days without food, 24 hours without water, with another 10 to go, already very lean, way below 10% body fat, and running 10 miles barefoot on such a rough terrain. To give myself even more motivation, there was no one on earth I could listen to that had the same mental energy as I did, but I didn't want to listen to myself, and there was only one other person I could listen to. You guessed it right, Goggins. I put on his audiobook, Never Finished, and hit the track. Day 8 was the climax. Although it was very difficult, I couldn't afford to lose. It felt like my lucky day. Everything had aligned perfectly. I was full of energy, the weather was beautiful, sunny, 77 degrees Fahrenheit or 25 Celsius, and it was a Friday, my favorite day of the week. I'm used to barefoot walking, so it didn't hurt much. Gave me a tremendous sense of freedom, not to mention a deeper connection to earth. I might even make a separate video about it in the future. At the start, I was debating myself, because it was very difficult. I was wondering if I was doing the right thing. Then this part of Goggins' book came up, where he explains a scientific experiment. In the 1950s, Kurt Richter placed rats in a bucket of water and observed how long they would swim before giving up and drowning. In one condition, the rats were left entirely on their own, and they drowned after about 15 minutes on average. In another condition, Richter rescued them just before they were about to give up. Then he dried them off, let them rest briefly, and then put them back into the water. These rats, having had that experience, then swam very much longer in subsequent trials, sometimes up to 60 hours. That is insane. The key takeaway was that simply believing rescue was possible, in other words, having hope, dramatically increased their perseverance. After hearing this, and as time went by, it progressively became easier for me. I was the one giving myself hope, telling myself I'll get through this, and I'll thrive, like Rocky did. My whole life I've been an underdog, and I wanted to change that. As I kept running, I realized the same rule applies to everything in life. Once you break through with the belief that it's possible, it becomes easier. People don't quit because they run out of energy. They quit because they run out of faith. They don't believe in themselves. So they go back to comfort, like a baby reaching for its mother. The route wasn't flat and had plenty of uphills and stairs, but the challenge made it even enjoyable for me. As Goggins says, I was taking souls, all those lazy people sitting around eating Doritos, and when you tell them to try even 2 meals a day, let alone one, they type a 2-paragraph comment saying that I'm wrong, that nobody can exercise without pre-workouts and loads of carbohydrates or sugar, or they'll lose all their muscle if they don't constantly graze. Yes, those are the people I'm going after. They can spend the rest of their lives making excuses. I'm out here doing what they call impossible or even crazy. By the time I was in front of my old office building, it was 12 p.m. I watched all those people on their lunch breaks, eating restaurant meals full of trans fats and refined carbs, some drinking alcohol. All seemed happy and relaxed, while I was here pushing my limits, running past them. I'd never felt more distance from their mentality, even though I was one of them just last year. It's incredible how much we can change in only 1 year, if we luck in. Finally, there I was, back at the place of my old torment, the plantation, 6 months after being fired, 6 months after starting this channel, and now, as of recording this video, we have passed 11,000 subscribers, getting close to 12. I can't thank each and every one of you enough. If I've managed to spark the fire in some of you to turn your life around, then I've given something back, and that makes it all worth it. Although by the time I arrived there, I was drained, seeing that office, imagining everyone still there, being the same, and remembering how I was treated gave me another boost and another fire. So this is an iconic moment for me, because I used to work in one of those buildings for some time, and it was the worst time of my life. And finally, late February 2025, I was fired, and I think it was the best thing that ever happened to me. Right now, I'm free. It's Friday afternoon. Everybody's rushing to go back to work after having lunch, and I'm just here running for 5 miles and another 5 miles back home, free and not having eaten for 8 days. I've been dry fasting since last night, so I haven't even drunk water. I'm doing all of these and still feeling great. Fantastic. As Goggins says, anger has a tremendous energy, which you can transform and convert into other productive types of energy. That's what I did. The soles of my feet were burning, but my brain was numb to pain. Before I knew it, I was back home, having run 10.7 miles or 17.3 kilometers. But I wasn't done yet. I finished it off with 40 push-ups in a row with strict form. Then I posed in front of the camera, flexing and posing. Then I checked the videos and thought, man, I've never been this shredded my entire life. I've never seen someone like this in person. I've rarely seen it online outside of competitions, and almost none of those competitors are over 40 and natural. No creatine, no protein supplements, no amino acids, just fasting. I did it. I finally reached 6% body fat, just as I promised. I saved the weigh-in for the evening and before the meal, but judging by how I looked and how I couldn't find a trace of fat anywhere under my skin, I knew I was there. I can't even begin to describe how happy and thrilled I was, to the point I forgot about hunger. And strangely, I wasn't even thirsty. After that, I took a cold shower in the backyard and got this huge rush of dopamine, endorphins, and epinephrine. I was on top of the world. You have to experience it for yourself to know what I mean. I felt like Rocky after beating Apollo Creed in Rocky 2. I then prepared my meal, which I'll explain later. I still had another 4 hours until mealtime, which was 8 p.m., which marked exactly 200 hours since I'd last eaten. I decided to go to the beach, relax, and read a book while watching the sunset. It was so peaceful and calm, like never before. The book I chose was Anti-Fragile, Things That Gain from Disorder by Nassim Nicholas Taleb. Let me read you 2 sentences from it that captured my attention at the very moment hunger was pushing harder than ever. The first one is this: complex systems are weakened, even killed, when deprived of stressors. The second one is even more interesting. We need a mechanism by which the system regenerates itself continuously by using, rather than suffering from, random events, unpredictable shocks, stressors, and volatility. That's exactly what I was doing with this fast. This is the key to achieving greatness. Anyone who thinks this is an eating disorder simply doesn't have that level of mental capacity. I watched the sunset and thought about how lucky we are to live in a time and place of abundant food. It's a luxury. Imagine prehistoric humans, sometimes going weeks without eating. They still had to get out of the cave and get into the cold weather to hunt. I could have pushed this fast to 10, maybe even 20 days, but the thing is, I'm not reckless with my health, and there's no rush. Although my body was already adapted to fasting after 18 months of OMAD, going more than 200 hours wouldn't be wise, especially since I had virtually no body fat left. And beyond this point, my body was starting to break down muscle mass. More importantly, My next challenge is to run a fasted marathon while on a carnivore OMAD diet, which I believe will be the first time anyone my age has done it and documented it. Now, how do I know I didn't lose any muscle? Simple. Not only did I not lose strength, I actually gained some. Visually, I looked better than I'd ever imagined in terms of muscle. There's no way I could have done that many push-ups after such an intense run before. So no, you won't lose muscle if you stay active, except in extreme situations. For example, if somebody is already at 6 or 7% body fat, is not fat adapted, or doesn't move at all. Finally, the moment of truth. The one I'd been waiting for this whole time. The weigh-in. The scale reading before the meal was 122.8 pounds, or 55.7 kilograms. Holy smokes, the last time I was at this weight, I was 16 years old, and at that time I wasn't nearly as muscular as I am now. Strangely enough, I was feeling 16 again, both in my body and in my mind. It confirmed my earlier visual estimation of 6%, even after accounting for a 2-pound gain from refeed. Okay, now as for the meal. It was slow-cooked lamb shanks that had become tender and gelatinous. The side dish was shiitake mushrooms, seaweed, and sea kelp cooked in the broth separately, with the fat from the cooked shanks added. I did not skimp on fat this time. My body needed it. I also added half an onion, half a lemon, and a bit of pickled cauliflower, which would help with the digestion with its acidity. As the clock struck 8 p.m., I attacked the food like prisoners of war being freed, or that scene in the 1970s spaghetti western They Call Me Trinity with Terence Hill. It tasted better than anything I had ever eaten in my entire life. Not only that, but the pleasure was greater than anything else I'd ever experienced. Nothing even comes close. I can't even begin to describe it. That single experience alone would have been enough to make the whole journey worthwhile. It was pure ecstasy. Pure bliss. I ate the whole plate and even licked the plate clean, something I never do. It was the primal instinct coming out. Some people doing long fasts say that they can't eat the same portion afterwards because the stomach shrinks. That didn't happen to me. I'd been on OMAD for a long time before the fast, so I was able to eat the same amounts. That night, I had the best sleep of the past 9 nights. Now the next day after refeed, September 13th. What happened the next day is absolutely a part of the whole experience, and I need to share it. I woke up refreshed and full of energy, but strangely, I was super hungry. I think my body had perceived coming out of a famine and finding food again, and instinctively wanted to feast. Of course, I wouldn't allow that to happen. I went straight back to OMAD. No way in hell would I let all this effort go to waste and ending up back at square one. It was a beautiful, warm, sunny Saturday, and I went out for a cup of coffee. My first in almost 10 days. I chose a nearby cafe with a gorgeous backyard full of greenery and flowers. It was packed, and seeing everyone happy and enjoying themselves made me happy too, filling me with positive vibes. I ordered my usual large long black, and while waiting, my heart was already pumping in anticipation. When it finally arrived and I took that first sip, I was blown away by how good it tasted. The whole experience was pure joy. If they serve coffee in heaven, it must taste like this. After all those days without coffee, my body was hypersensitive to caffeine. On the drive back, the stimulation hit me hard. It didn't even feel like coffee anymore. It was on a whole different level, like being launched into space and landing on the moon. I didn't let it go to waste though. I captured that surge of energy and started writing my whole experience during this journey while it was still fresh in my mind. Those 8 days, what led up to it, and what came after. That night, I ate even more, but I felt truly deserving it. I'll make another video after 7 days of eating to share the post-fast experience and how much I have gained. Spoiler alert, I gained quite a bit. As I'm recording this video now, I'm roughly at 8% body fat. So not as shredded, but I'll explain why in a future video. Now let me share with you the most surprising and unexpected reward I got from this long fast. I still can't believe this. It almost feels like a dream, like a magic. People do stem cell therapies, costing thousands of dollars with mixed results. You won't believe what I'm about to share. On the last day of fast, I noticed something. If you've been following me, you know I've been dealing with a debilitating shoulder injury and lingering knee pain for 3 years. Leftovers from the time I was overweight. The shoulder injury kept me from training with proper form, and sometimes I couldn't do anything for weeks, not even simple daily tasks. The knee pain was also holding me back from my planned marathon, since I had to stop and stretch every 30 minutes. During that 10-mile run and those 40 push-ups, the pain was completely gone. I still can't believe it. I'll give it more time to see if I've truly healed for good, and I'll keep you updated. But if I have, this is the best gift, a second chance at a pain-free life, and I'll be forever grateful for this. The final chapter, my takeaways, what I learned from this whole experience. Keep in mind, these apply to someone who's already well adapted to fasting and healthy. Number 1, you don't lose muscle if you're active. In fact, you can even gain, but it depends on your usual diet before the fast. 2, you won't lack the energy to train. You can go hard during prolonged fasting. 3, low energy is only temporary, but libido drops after about 5 days, coming back quickly after refeed. Headaches are also temporary and are tied to caffeine withdrawals, at least for me. 4, your thyroid will be fine. 5, you will overeat after a long fast, but you will be able to control that after a few days. So don't worry and don't expect to keep all that lost weight off. 6, it can affect your job or career, so you have to plan ahead. 7, it won't cause any nutrient deficiencies if you don't have one already. 8, sleep stays fairly normal, but expect to sleep less overall. 9, after 40, losing weight is much harder than gaining, especially after eating simple and refined carbs. 10, it won't raise your stress levels in a destructive way. You'll learn to control your emotions better. You'll come out of this with a higher emotional intelligence. 11, this is the quickest way to break a stall, even though you'll gain back some weight after. 12, you don't need supplements while fasting as much as you think. Just some electrolytes here and there, and don't drink coffee. 13, it's the best way to heal old, stubborn injuries. I'll update you on this in a month because I still can't believe they're gone forever. 14, you'll need new clothes. The old ones won't fit anymore. 15, it builds resilience like nothing else can. 16, the mind is a wonderful servant, but a terrible master. This is the best way to gain back control of your mind and life. For me, above all, this was a journey of self-discovery, and I'm glad that I did it. The timing was also perfect. Would I have done anything differently? Well, I could say it would have been better to quit coffee completely before starting, or to not eat sugar for my last meal. But then again, doing the opposite actually worked out for me. I would never have had the motivation to cut coffee if it wasn't for the fast. And that awful feeling after eating all that sugar is what pushed me into doing this in the first place. So in a way, I did everything just right. Finally, what's next for my weight loss journey? From now on, I plan to maintain a sub 10% body fat year-round in a healthy and sustainable way. Other than that, my next plan is to take part in a marathon without changing my diet. I have so many exciting videos coming up for you, so if you like it, please like the video, comment and subscribe. Please also hype the video, which is the newest YouTube feature that helps smaller creators. If you need private coaching, my website is www.bigleaptheory.com. You can also DM me on Instagram. Be sure to be well, and I'll see you again very soon.